Alright, people. To all of you out there who claim that this movie isn't that good and lacks all the charm and charisma of the original, you're right. To all you people out there who claim that this is the worst thing that has ever happened in movie history, or at least recently, you're wrong. I could think of tons of movies that I've seen that were worse than this. Let's discuss some of them, shall we? Texas Chainsaw: The Next Generation. That movie sucked. Thomas and the Magic Railroad, a horrible kids movie and a horrible Thomas the Tank Engine movie. Trust me. How the heck did I like that as a kid? Ugh. Wrong Turns 5 and 6. Casino Royale 1967. Friday the 13th 4 and 5. Maybe a couple of the other ones too. I can't decide. The film adaptation of Aragon. Halloween 6. The adaptation of the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender by M. Night Shyamalan. Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark. The third Hatchet movie starring Danielle Harris. And the comedy Hot Pursuit with, what's the chick from Modern Family? Well, the hot one, you know who I'm talking about, Sophia something, yeah. Really, people, you're claiming that this is the worst thing that has ever happened? Serious? Lee, I was able to come up with like a dozen movies that I've seen that are worse than this, and those are just the definitives. I had a lot more question marks, okay? I'm telling you guys, I have seen far worse than this, without a doubt. I had the exact same reaction the first time I saw Mortal Kombat. Not that good of a movie, but I have easily seen worse than this. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get into how I actually thought about the movie. Well, I didn't actually expect to see this movie and had no interest, but my mom and stepfather wanted to see a movie, so that's the one they choose, and I go, well, now I can actually find out without any risk to myself. You know what? Let's do it. So I went in there, and I was laughing my face off for most of the movie. Now, to be fair, though, there was tons of Will Ferrell humor, but actually, I was not face-planting nearly as much as I did for Hot Pursuit. Okay? Trust me. And even though, they do the business of making, you know, every male character in here, you know, kind of a-hole or confused, okay? At the same time, it's kind of the same as many other movies have done, such as the original Ghostbusters to a degree, and the first Michael Bay Transformer movie, where you've got characters in like authoritative positions who are just doing their jobs, and then the people who we the audience know is right are making outlandish claims that the people in the authoritative positions really can't believe. Now, to be fair, okay, that doesn't explain every male's behavior in here. It does explain Andy Garcia's character and all the other nameless cops, you know, okay? It doesn't do anything for Chris Hemsworth, but they brought him in there, I think, really just to get some eye candy and throw in a few more gags. And I'll admit, I was laughing for his gags, okay? And if I remember correctly, they didn't actually play the receptionist part up in the original, so, that's one area that this movie is trying to go differently, even though Ghostbusters is more of a comedy, okay? And since I didn't mention this, I have seen the other two Ghostbusters. I saw the original many times, but I was too young to understand a good amount of the jokes, but I can recall a good amount of them, such as, you know, a few bits that they did in the dining room. I remember the Twinkie incident. I remember a couple of things that Rick Moranis was doing to impress Sigourney Weaver's character. So I remember a good amount of that one, at least. The second one I think I've only seen once. All I really remember is the painting, Statue of Liberty, and Purple Slime, yeah. But, there you go, alright? So, that's how I thought about that. And how did I feel about the actresses? Some of the things that they did were kind of out there, but I got the feeling that they do work as a fairly nice team and that they all bring different qualities, because if you have everybody on a team like that bring the same thing, it doesn't really give a huge impression, because in the original, I feel it is possible, even though I'm sure I'm going to get blasted for this, that there isn't too much difference between Ray and Egon, or Spangler. Which one's his first name again? Sorry, I can't remember. But But there didn't appear to be too much difference to them because at the beginning they're in the exact same mindset, whereas Bill Murray's character was the one that needed to kind of be convinced. So here I did feel like there were differences because I can't remember the actress's names right at the top of my mind, but you've got one character who understands all the science stuff, and then you've got the person who's the geek but doesn't talk as much. Kind of like how I probably would unless I'm prompted, because that's one weakness that I've got. If I end up talking about something that I'm an expert on, I just babble on and on. Right. I'm not going to babble about the main cast a little bit more, because I'm sure that's been discussed time and time again. And then, how did I feel about the cameos that all the original people, minus Rick Moranis and Harold Ramis, because obviously he's dead, did in here? Well, they don't really matter to the plot, minus Bill Murray's character, and that was a clever deviance, even though it was kind of stupid, but I did laugh when it happened. I just feel like, though, they could have played the reaction to, spoiler alert, his character's death a little bit, kind of like in a Happy Gilmore, when one character dies in there. You could have, done a nice gag reaction to that, in my opinion, right? And, oh yeah, and Dan, what's his face, Aykroyd's cameo, he's the guy who played Rain, the original. There were a couple of people that were in the theater that I saw this movie and that seemed to not recognize that he was, who he was. My stepfather actually didn't notice him, even though I did. And the thing is, other than this movie, Casper, and Trading Places, I hadn't seen him in any other movie. So it's interesting how I was able to pick that up, but no one else. Yeah. Okay. And that pretty much summarizes my thoughts on the movie. It's not so much a review, it's more about me going on against the haters of this movie to a certain degree with what I did at the beginning and what I'm going to do right after I give my rating for this movie. So, overall rating, I'm going to rate it between 2 and 3 stars, which is what I rated Hot Pursuit when I originally saw it, but I can tell that this is actually a better comedy than Hot Pursuit, and on a rewatch, the quality of this movie will go down, okay? But my feeling is also this. If the original cast doesn't have a problem really with this movie, I'm beginning to think that many people should back off, because the people who are directly involved with this don't have a problem. Yeah. And one last point that I want to make, sorry about this, I keep changing hands, I'm not used to holding it up like this anymore. To the people who keep complaining about this movie, now I get that you're pissed, okay, but here's the thing. I honestly feel like you were actually doing this movie a disservice, not because I like the movie more than you, because you keep spurring people to see the movie and keep talking about it, because it's this gradual trend I've been noticing, because I've been noticing that actually when I view things that people keep complaining about as the worst thing ever, I'm not bothered by it too much most of the time, even though I don't think it's that good. I honestly am more bothered by products that people, kind of forget about and just don't really talk about. For example, let's compare Star Wars Episode 1 to Episode 2. Star Wars Episode 1 is generally considered to be the worst Star Wars movie out there, and you've got tons of people complaining about it and doing big, long, in-depth analyses as to why they don't like the movie. Episode 2, there are still people who don't like the movie. It's generally considered to be better than Episode 1, but it's a lot harder to find people who do huge in-depth analyses of that movie describing why they don't like it. I honestly feel like Episode 2 has a worse fate because not too many people talk about it. It's kind of forgotten in the midst of the movie that came before it being disliked more than it, and then the movie that came after it being liked more than it, and generating more talking points. So, it's that kind of a thing. What I'm trying to get at is that you haters out there, what you actually should have done was back off a couple of days after this movie was released. Because you just spurred people, to keep going there and keep talking about it. So it's not going to be called the worst thing ever. Because people keep talking about it. You really should have backed off. Because, to go into reality shows, for one other example, there's a show called Big Brother. It's been on for 18 seasons now. Generally, the seasons that are described to be the worst of that show is the 9th season and the 15th season. Generally, the 15th is ranked worse than the 9th. I viewed it, and I actually felt that the 9th was lower than the 15th. Mainly because people keep talking about the 15th, and then completely ignore the 9th one. Yeah. See ya.